So we are going to come on our backs in a moment, but just wanted to read a little bit to you about our topic today. So we're going to talk about awareness, and the yogis talk about this word a lot. Why is it so important? So if we are acting without awareness, it's like we are a sleepwalker who doesn't know where he is walking. So it's like going through life when you're unaware. You just sort of fumble along, and basically the yogis are saying that the mind is kind of ruling us. So we just act on our strongest impulses. Mind is controlling us. But when we flip that and we are acting with awareness, we are more in control of our minds. Our senses become clear. We can perceive better. We can see better, think better, hear better. So there's more clarity. So yoga attends to all aspects of our being: mind, body, breath, emotions, the inner self. And then we can use the awareness of the breath to help us anchor to the present moment. The secret of awareness is just to watch everything that is going on in the body and the mind as the witness. So it doesn't mean we can kind of get rid of the thoughts in our mind, but that we can be aware of them, and we can be aware of whether or not these thoughts are helpful or not, right? And we all know we can't create a change in our lives unless we are aware that there's a problem, right? So we can't fix our alignment in a yoga posture if we're not aware that we're doing it incorrectly, right? So it's this kind of really putting our minds in our bodies that can help us develop that body awareness to create change. Just like if we have a really bad habit in our lives, we can't change it if we're not aware of it. If we have a really challenging family dynamic, we can't change it unless we're aware that things might be able to be different. So sometimes we get so used to something that it kind of becomes our normal, and we're not aware that something could be different. So we'll just bring this concept back in throughout our practice today. I am going to say, I'll let you guys know that we're going to do some hamstring work today, particularly strengthening hamstrings, which I know brings up some cramping for some of my friends out there. So just be really mindful of that, be aware of it. And when we do things like bend our leg, just go into it really slowly. And if you start to get that cramp, you can always back out. All right. So go ahead and come down. We're going to come on our backs. You might want to have a pillow under your head. And we're just going to start with our feet flat, knees bent. So the constructive rest pose, as I call it. All right. So feet flat, knees bent. And just dropping in here, feeling the spine as it rests on the ground. So we can start by having an awareness of our body. Perhaps noticing the curvature of your spine. So where does the spine touch the ground? Where does this sort of lift away from the ground? And then bringing a breath into the lower belly so we can be aware of our breath. It's another thing that we can't change if we're not aware of it. So if we become aware that we're breathing, reverse breathing, improper breathing, chest breathing, we can start to change it and breathe into our bellies. But maybe if we're not coming to a yoga class on a regular basis, we might not even be aware that we are breathing incorrectly. So we're going to take about 3 more breaths here. All right, so from here, go ahead and take the pillow out from underneath your head. And we're going to have our arms right at our sides. And we'll do some flowing bridges, but I want you to keep some particular things in your awareness. So we're going to be really aware of our feet. So take a moment, notice we're going to have our feet hips distance apart. And I want you to feel like you're evenly on your feet. So a lot of us, as we roll up into bridge, we tend to let our feet roll out to the pinky edge side. So I want you to be aware of that. And then also be aware of your legs and your knees. So don't let them splay out to the side. So your job is to focus on your feet and your knees and make sure everything stays in alignment. Okay, arms at your side. And as you inhale, go ahead and lift your hips, lift your arms, and stay really aware of your feet and your knees. And then as you exhale, floating those arms and hips back down. And then go ahead and repeat that. And just being really mindful of your movement, being mindful of your feet, being mindful of not letting your knees splay apart. And let's do 3 more rounds and just see if you can keep focusing on those 2 places. Two more cycles here. Now on your next one, I want you to stay in the lifted position. So lift your arms, lift your hips, pause here. Come back to that awareness in your feet. Feel the feet evenly pressed down into the ground. Be aware of those legs. Make sure they're not splaying apart. And now lift your tailbone up a little higher. Lift your chest a little higher. Hold 1 more breath. And then on your next exhalation, we're going to slowly go ahead and come all the way back down. Let the arms come at your side. Okay, we're going to grab a block and come now into supported bridge. So slide the block underneath the back of your sacrum. And if it's comfortable for you, we're going to go on the 2nd level. If that's too much, just go ahead and stay on that 1st level. And then again, let the arms be at your side. Keep that awareness in your feet and your legs. And this time, tuck your shoulder blades in a little bit to help open that chest. Let's take another breath here. And then we're going to go ahead and bring the right knee up and into the chest. And you can hold the knee, you can hold the shin, you can use a strap if you like around your shin. And then we're going to take the other leg and try to stretch it out long. So we're starting to open up the hip flexor of that left leg. And just hold there for a moment. Being aware of that left hip, the stretch on the front of the left hip. Now, if you want, go ahead and straighten your right leg and just be aware of not locking your knee joint. So we're going to keep a little micro bend, flex the foot, reach through your heel. And if that's too much, keep it bent. Now try to reach your left leg a little bit longer. Reach your heel a little bit more forward. And keep a nice breath in your belly. 1 more breath. Now, if that leg is up straight, go ahead and bend it again and slowly release that foot down to the ground. Bend both knees, both feet flat. Very good. Okay, let's try that on the other side. So we're going to bring that left knee in toward the chest. Hold it if you can. Use your strap if your arms aren't long enough. And then we're going to try and sneak that other leg out straight. Now, if it's too much, you can always keep a bent knee there. And then just really trying to reach through that right leg, reach through the heel as you draw your knee in a little closer. Breathing here into the belly. So hips and hamstrings go hand in hand. When I'm opening the front of the hip here, usually we're also engaging hamstrings, not in this particular pose, but typically these are both kind of a tight area, tight in the hip flexors, and we're often either tight or weak in the hamstrings. You'll see in some of the other poses what I mean. All right, go ahead and release that foot down, and then, oh, we forgot the hamstring stretch. Keep it there, sorry. Straighten that leg out just for a couple breaths, and then keep reaching through the right leg. Yeah. Breath into the belly, one more. And now we're gonna slowly bend it. All right, both feet flat. If your block is on second level, let's go ahead and all put it on the first level. And let those feet come flat again. Hold for another breath. All right, go ahead, come off the block. Take a full body stretch. Interlace your hands, flip your palms, and then a little up slip, down slip. Reach through right leg as far as you can, and then reach through left leg. So you're just really stretching out after being on that block. Lengthening again through those hip flexors. So just going side to side, you'll feel a little shift in the back of your sacrum as you reach through one leg and then the other leg. One more on each side. Good, and then go ahead and release. Bring your knees back into your chest. And then we're gonna roll to our side and come on up into a seated position. Okay, so feel free to grab a pillow or something to sit up on if you prefer. And I want you to have your strap within reach here. So we're going to take that strap behind our back. And I want you to hold that strap with your palms facing down. So palms facing down helps us open our shoulders more. So if I were to flip the palms face up, the shoulders roll in. So it's a little bit more optimal to have those palms facing down. So our collarbones and chest is more open. And we're going to start to lift the strap up behind us. So we're doing a little back bending today. Pull on the strap, keep the heart space open. And then we're going to turn the arms to the right and the chest to the left. So we get that shoulder back a little more. And then go to the other side. So strap and arms to the left, look a little bit to the right. And just go side to side a few times. One more time. And then back to the center. Just be aware of your elbow joints. Bring a little bend into those elbow joints. A lot of times we're not aware that we're hyperextending in our joints. So we have to bring our attention there. Hold it here, one more breath. Good, and then release and set the strap to the side, shake the arms out a bit. And then we're gonna bring our arms out wide, palms facing forward. We're gonna take an inhale, and as you exhale, hinge forward, sweep your arms back behind you, turn your palms up, and bring your chin in a little bit. And then inhale back to the start, palms out to the side. Good. And then fold forward, take your arms back behind you, sweep the palms to face up, the chin is tucking in. And again, inhale up, palms stretch out wide, exhale, move it back. One more time. Good. Inhale this time all the way up. Interlace your fingers, press the palms up, and lengthen your spine. Good. Release your hands, bring the palms together. Bend your elbows. And we're going to start to drop the palms behind the back of the head. And then bring the elbows in close to your head and lift those elbows up high. Hold here another breath, really lengthening. And then inhale, reach those arms up and let those arms come down. Okay, tabletop position with a block between the inner thighs. So we'll do a lot of drawing to the midline today, a lot of strengthening inner thighs, outer thighs, and also a little bit of back work and hamstring work. We got a lot going on today, actually. So block between inner thighs, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Let's do our cat-cows with that awareness to the inner thigh. Really hug the block. So take an inhale, exhale, round, squeeze your block. Think about the block trying to touch your nose as you exhale. And then as you inhale, the block moves back, the chest lifts, the gaze lifts. Exhale, round and squeeze the block. And keep going. Let's do 3 more cycles. And one more time. All right, coming back to neutral, we're going to come down onto our bellies and we're going to keep that block between the inner thighs. We're going to come up into Sphinx posture on your forearms. So just press down. We're going to squeeze that block between the inner thighs. Press through your palms and drag the palms towards your chest and drag forward from your navel through your heart. Keep squeezing that block. And now from here, we're going to try and lift our feet up. So go slowly. Here's where those hamstring cramps might start to bother us. So just go easy. And you can lift those shins as far as you like and squeeze the block. And then pull the chest forward. One more breath here. And then we're going to slowly let those legs come back down. Good. Go ahead and rest all the way down. Put your forehead on your hands. Give your hips a little wiggle side to side. And then let's go ahead and press back up into our tabletop pose. And this time we'll take the block out. All right. We're in our tabletop pose. We're going to take our right hand forward and come up on the finger pads. So we're not lifting that arm off the ground. And then we're going to take the left leg back, toes on the ground. So we're kind of like in this asymmetrical balancing position. Hug to the midline. Imagine you're still squeezing that block between your inner thighs. Holding it here. Have an awareness of your core. Start to draw the low belly in. And then you might float that right arm up. Turn your palm to face the center. If you're steady enough, lift the leg as well. Opposite leg. And then hold it here. Try to have an awareness of levelness in your hips. Stay toned in that core. Now let your chin drop so that the crown of the head lengthens. And you won't have that kink in your neck. Good. Slowly release. And take it back to a brief child's pose. And then let's come back. We'll do the other side. Go back to tabletop pose. We're going to take those left fingers forward, come up on your finger pads, and then right leg back, starting with everything on the ground, just to find our balance. It's also helpful, right elbow crease could spin a little forward. That'll keep that collarbone more open. Tone your core, keep your hips level, and then option to float your arm up, palm turns in, and perhaps your leg. Drop your chin, have that awareness of the back of the neck, and lengthen through the crown of the head. And then we hold here. Let's take another breath. Good, release and take it back, child's pose. So we're going to keep working on hands and knees a little bit longer. So if your wrists start to bother you, feel free to roll your mat over, give yourself a little extra cushion underneath the heels of your hands. If you're okay, don't worry. Okay. We're going to take that right leg back again. Tone your core, hug to the midline, and then lift that leg up to about hip height. See if you can have an awareness of your glute engaging, your hamstring engaging as you hold it here. And then those of you who want to go a little bit farther could start to bend that knee. So then we're bringing that foot to face more up toward the ceiling. That causes too much cramping. Keep the legs straight. Hold it there. One more breath, lift your chest. And then those of you who have bent the legs, slowly re-extend. Again, noticing the work in that hamstring, and then release that knee down. This time, let's get off the hands. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Interlace the palms, stretch up. And then hands to the back of the sacrum, fingers down, little back bend, open up through the chest. Let's stretch in your belly. And then let's release. We'll do the other side. Hands down. Left leg back behind you, toes on the ground. Hug to the midline, tone your belly. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and float that leg up to about hip height. Feeling that work in the hamstring, in the glute, toning the belly. And then if you want, you can bend that knee, lift your thigh, and we'll get a little more contraction in that hamstring. If it's too much, keep the legs straight or even toes down. Listening to your body. Good, slowly release. And then if you have a blanket on your mat, we're gonna go ahead and take it off. So if you have a folded blanket or a blanket all the way out, set that to the side for now. And we're gonna come back to having the block between the inner thighs. So we'll take our block between inner thighs, come back into tabletop pose. Take your hands slightly forward of your shoulders, and then we're gonna lift up into our down dog, and we'll keep our block between the inner thighs. Okay, so we're gonna hold here, firm your arm muscles, press in your hands, squeeze your block, and bend those knees a little bit. Try to tip your block back behind you. Hold it another breath. And then we're gonna come forward, drop down onto the knees, lower all the way down to your belly, keep the block in place. So we're coming back into our Sphinx posture. Elbows under shoulders, Hands in line with elbows, and we're squeezing that block, pulling the chest forward. Good. Lower down, slide your hands back by your lower chest. Elbows in, roll the shoulders back. Tuck your chin so the back of the neck is long. And then inhale, cobra pose. And you're still kind of squeezing that block. And now exhale down, squeeze the block, lift your legs off the ground. You're still with that block. And then legs down, lift up cobra. Release the chest down, try to lift your legs. They're not going to go far, but you're really using those hamstrings to try and lift. One more time, lift up. And then release down, squeeze the block, try to lift the block. Okay, come to your knees. You can take that block out again. We might revisit it again later. Back to down dog. And then bend your knees a lot. Let's walk your hands back to meet your feet. Keep those knees bent, release your head. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And exhale, draw your hands to your heart. Good. Okay, so standing in mountain pose, have an awareness of your feet. Let me just fix my mat a minute here. And keep those feet nice and parallel to each other. Reach your fingertips toward the ground, but the crown of the head reaches up. Good. As you inhale, reach the arms up, and exhale, fold forward, half sun salutations. Inhale, halfway lift. Try not to lift your chin. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Let's do 2 more rounds like that. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, hands to heart. One more time through. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Try not to lift the chin. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Good. Take your arms out to the side, widen your feet just a little bit, just like we did seated. We're gonna have a little bend in the knees. We're gonna inhale. As you exhale, we're gonna hinge forward, sweep the arms back behind you. The palms are facing up. Inhale, come out wide, stretch through the arms. Exhale, bend the knees, turn your palms up, the chin is in. One more time. Inhale, open up wide. Exhale, bend, and bring those palms back behind you. Good. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, release. Arms down at your side. Okay, grab your blocks and put them at the top of the mat if they're not there. I'm going to face sideways for a little bit. Okay, inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold, hands to blocks. As you inhale, right foot back, coming into our lunge. Move your blocks back by your foot. And then drop down onto that back knee. Toes can be flat or tucked, your choice. And then let's come up, hands on thigh. Find that hook of the tailbone forward and the lift of the lower belly. And then inhale the arms up, bring your palms together, and then drop your palms behind the back of your head and lift the elbows up. So maybe have an awareness of lifting your rib cage here and hugging the elbows in. We might drop a little deeper into the front knee. Now inhale, palms up. and out to the sides. Good. You know where we're going here. We're going to inhale, and as we exhale, we're going to hinge forward and bring those palms to face up. Bring your belly toward your thigh, and then inhale back out to the side. Good. So you got to find your balance here. Helps to be aware of your front foot and root it into the ground. Here we go again. Folding, take those palms back behind you. Chin is in, not sticking out. And one more time. Inhale, exhale. Good. And then inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands down to the blocks. Lift your back knee off the ground. We're going to walk the blocks forward and step it forward. Folding over your legs. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Good. And again, inhale, reach side two. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, step your left foot to the back of the mat. Move your blocks back and drop down onto that back knee. Toes tucked or untucked. Hands onto your thigh. Inhale, reach the arms up. Very good. Palms together, and we're going to drop the palms behind the back of the head. And try to stretch the elbows up. Lift your rib cage. Maybe slide a little deeper into your front knee. Hook your tailbone forward so we get that hip flexor stretch. Good. Inhale the arms up and out to the side. Exhale here. And then inhale, stretch out wide. Exhale, come forward. Palms go up. And then inhale out to the side. Exhale, arms reach back. One more time. Good, and then hands to blocks. Oh yeah, you could reach them up, sorry. And then hands down, lift that back knee. And we're gonna move the blocks forward and step forward. Folding over your legs. Inhale, the arms all the way out and up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Good. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold forward. And set your blocks a little bit toward the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And then we're going to step back, downward facing dog. Bring the knees down. Let's take a brief child's pose before we continue for a little bit more work in the hamstrings. So go ahead, let's take about 3 more breaths there. Giving yourself a little rest. Breathing into your back body. One more. All right, we're going to slide forward onto your belly from here. And just kind of stretch everything out. Sorry, I got to move this blanket that's behind me. Stretch out through your arms, stretch out through your legs. And then from here, we're going to do what we did in tabletop. Take your right hand, reach it as far forward as you can, come up on your fingertips. You're lifting the heel of your hand. And then we're going to take the opposite leg and lift it off the ground. Now the other arm and leg, you're going to press down to help you lift up. Lift your head, lift your shoulders. And now maybe that arm floats off the ground. Tone your lower belly. That'll help support your back. Tuck the chin, one more breath. And then release, stack up your hands, pause, wiggle your hips. Okay, let's do the other side. So we're going to reach those arms forward. We're going to pop up onto the left fingertips. Lift your right leg. Opposite arm and leg are pressing down. We're toning the belly, lowering the chin. Maybe that arm floats off the ground, palm facing in. Good. And release, stack up hands. Okay, so we're gonna just keep reaching through the toes, through the legs, lift your kneecaps. The legs are now active, but the head is resting down. All right, see if you can lift your right leg off the ground. Left leg stays down, lift it a little higher. Have an awareness to the hamstring and the glute helping to lift that leg. And then release, other side. Reach back through your left leg and lift it off the ground. Feel the back of the leg engaging. So when we lift that leg, the back chain has to engage to help it lift up. And release. Pause for a moment. Okay, lift the right foot off the ground, the right shin, the knee is bent. That's it. So stay with that and see if you can lift your thigh off the ground. So we're engaging that glute, engaging that hamstring. Hold it there. Good, and then release. Again, if it causes cramping, you could stick with a straight leg. You could not hold it as long. You could not bend quite as much. Let's try the other side. So we're going to lift the left foot and shin. Staying there or trying to lift that thigh off the ground. Be aware that your leg is neutral. Sometimes when we lift it, we tend to rotate it. Can you be aware and try to get that leg to be more neutral? And then slowly release. Okay, prop up onto your forearms again, back to that Sphinx position. You're gonna bring left forearm more parallel to the top of the mat. And your right hand's gonna come like right at your side. You'll just take a little bit of a twist to your right. Good, now take your right leg and bend your right leg. Bring that foot up. Some of you might reach back and grab the foot. You can also use a strap, or you could also just reach. You wanna go a little farther, kick the foot back a little bit. Opens the chest, opens that hip flexor. One more breath here. Good, and release. You can come all the way down if you need a little rest off your arms, or you can stay up in your Sphinx. Okay, let's try the other side. So we're gonna bring that right forearm more parallel to the top of the mat. Left arm comes out to the side, and then we're gonna bend that left knee. We could just stay with that, or reach back and catch the foot. So if that's too much, you can always just keep the legs straight. You could also use a strap here. If you want more, kick the foot back, opening the chest. One more breath, push into that front arm. And then let's let it go. Coming all the way down, rest for a moment. Some of you have this in your practice, so I'll offer it as an option, even though we're kind of in a more gentle practice today. You can repeat the half bow if you want. You could repeat kind of reaching back and just bending your knees like this. Or some of you can catch both feet. So I know that's an option for some of you. So if you've got both feet, Be aware that you're not splaying your knees. Try not to just lift your chin. Keep your chin in line with the rest of your spine. And some of you might be able to kick those feet back, opening the chest. And if that's too much, just skip it. Do the modification is just bending your knees and just reaching your arms back. But still don't splay those knees. Hug the inner thighs. And when you're ready, let it all go. Shake your hips out. You might pick your feet up this time and windshield wiper side to side. And then when you're ready, let's press to table. I always like to circle my hips out after back bend, so you might do that. And we'll meet in child's pose when you're ready. So maybe a couple circles in each direction. And then coming back to child's pose, stretch out your back for a few breaths. So let's take 3 more breaths here. So we can do an awareness practice with, just about any particular kind of sequence or kind of pose. But I feel this work hamstrings and the back bends. It's even more important to just really be aware of what we're doing, because otherwise sometimes we tend to hurt ourselves if we're not aware. Let's come up to seated as you're ready. And we're going to grab one block again. And we're going to take the block between the legs and really be aware of your sit bones, draw them down into the ground, lift the crown of your head. Okay, so from here, we're going to bend that right leg and have the block lodged between your foot and your thigh. So this helps us keep an awareness of that hugging to the midline as we do our twist. Because sometimes when we do the twist, this leg starts to get lazy and kind of flops open, or this knee might drop open. So this will help us keep drawing into the center. Hug your shin bone with your hands, and then lift up tall, draw your shoulders back, keep that opposite foot flexed. And then we're going to keep holding on with your left hand. Take your right arm, reach it up. As you touch the ceiling, as you exhale, twist. Hand to the ground behind you and turn to your right. Awareness to your left leg. Let that leg reach forward even more. Push through the leg, push through the heel, which will help you turn a bit more. On every inhale, we're sitting up taller. Hold it here, another breath. Good, and on your next inhalation, unwind it back to the center, and then we'll switch it out. We'll go to the other side. So we're going to try and pin that block between your thigh and your foot. Keep everything drawing to midline, and then hug your shin. Pull back on the shoulders back, lift through the crown of your head. Good, and then holding on with your right arm, reach your left arm up, try to touch the ceiling, and then take it back behind you onto the ground. Good. Inhale, lift up taller, exhale into your twist. And then breathing here, but continue to keep that awareness in your legs, hugging into the block. Notice if you have any tension in your face, relax your face. Let your shoulders be away from your ears. One more breath. Inhale back to the center and take your block out, legs out. And just circle those feet around a little bit, both directions. All right, so we did all this hugging to the midline for most of the class. So let's open it up a bit now. So we'll take the legs out wide into a straddle position. And if this is challenging for you, you're going to bend your knees. You could stick a block under each knee. That might give you a little bit of support to help you sit up tall. You could also put a pillow or a rolled blanket under those knees. You can bring the legs closer too. Sometimes that's helpful. But those of us with the range of motion, it might feel good to open it up a little bit more. Point your toes up toward the ceiling. And still feel the sit bones snuggle down into the ground as you lift up through the top of your head. And then let's root our thighs down into the ground. Some of us might stay here. So here's where awareness is also helpful, awareness of what our own limitations are. If we're not aware of that, we go too far and we could hurt ourselves. So maybe for some of us, this is a good position. We're already feeling a good hamstring stretch. If you want to go farther, hands come forward and you could walk it out any amount. So it depends on the level of sensation. That's what we're looking at. If your level of sensation is already intense, we don't want to go farther. If your level of sensation is pretty mild, then you might walk it out a little bit more. And sometimes as we stay, and if we keep our awareness in our bodies, we might notice that the sensation starts to dissipate as we hold a stretch and the tissues start to relax and soften. We might be able to go farther in time. Soft breaths into the belly. Let's hold here for 3 more cycles. After that 3rd cycle, let's go ahead and walk it up. Take your time. Good. Pause here, shoulders back. And then we'll slide the right hand down, bring left hand onto the hip. You can hold your ankle, your foot, or use a strap. And then bring your top hand onto your top rib cage, roll it back. Keep the top shoulder rolling back. And then we can take that top arm, reach it up. Staying there, or take that arm over your ear for a deeper stretch. Again, just being aware of your own sensations. What are you noticing? It's too intense, we have to back out. All right, as we come up, arm comes up first, bring it to the hip, tone the belly, push down into that left hip to slowly come up. So yoga is not the kind of physical activity where we say, you know, push as hard as we can. Maybe we might do that with something like weightlifting, but I don't know. Even then, I think we might hurt ourselves, right? But with yoga, we have to approach it with the body a little bit more, again, mindfully being aware so we don't go too far. Let's try that other side. So slide the arm out. So if we go too far, we're actually not going to have the progress we want. Better to stay in a milder range and not overdo it, overstress our tissues. Okay, hand on the rib cage, roll that rib cage back and roll the shoulder back. Arm can then come up. You can stay with that or take it over your ear if your body wants a little more sensation. Hold here. Even like to kind of take that left arm and push it forward toward the foot, toward the ankle. And what that does is it helps bring the hip back down a bit on the opposite side. And we might be able to deepen the pose. Good. Hand comes to the hip, tone the belly. Push down into that right hand, slowly come up. Use your hands, draw your knees together, bound angled position, another open hip position. So after all that, hugging the block and drawing to the midline. Inhale, lift up tall, and exhale, hinge and fold if that feels right for you. or stay in the vertical position. Just be aware of that stretch on the inner leg, inner thigh. Some of us are going to feel it more outer hip as well. Be aware of the breath moving in and out through your belly. And allow yourself to soften a bit more. Be aware of where you're holding tension. One more breath. And next inhalation, slowly coming up. We're going to use those hands to lift the knees. And then go ahead and make your way onto your back. You can put your pillow under your head. And we're going to get ready for Savasana in a couple of moments. So you can come down, maybe give those knees a hug into your chest. And rock a little bit side to side. If there's any last moment pose that might feel good for you, feel free to go ahead and take it. You want to stay with a knee hug, happy baby, maybe a quick twist or windshield wiper. So just give yourself a moment to be aware of what your body might need. And then just taking your time, when you feel complete, you can make your way to your Shavasana, adding any props that would help you feel more comfortable. And as you settle, starting to be aware of the ground beneath you. Sometimes we can't let go, relax, or soften because we're not aware that we are supported. So allow yourself to be aware that in this moment you are supported. Be aware of the flow of your breath. Be aware of your spinal muscles that we worked pretty hard today with all those belly down, back bend working. So let the spinal muscles soften into the ground. As you take a few more breaths, as you inhale, imagine your spine just kind of lengthening naturally with the breath, creating space between your vertebrae. And as you exhale, letting everything soften and release, drop. Try that a few more rounds. As you inhale, feel a lengthening of your spine. And as you exhale, letting everything release. One more round like this. And then letting go of any particular breath pattern and simply allowing yourself to be here in this moment, in this place of rest, relaxation, and healing. All right, everyone, we're going to start to come back to awareness and slowly re-emerge. We're going to be doing a brief seated practice. So if you need more time on your back, that's Jen. If you would like to sit for a couple moments, we're going to work on one pointed awareness. You can take your time, deepen your breath, move fingers and toes, and we'll find a comfortable seat when you are ready. Remember not to pop up too quickly, so take your time. And then establish a comfortable seat by finding your sit bones, supporting your seat if you need to on a prop. And we'll sit up tall, draw the shoulders back, chin level with the floor. And then either close your eyes or find a soft focal point. Be aware of and be firmly established in your breath. So the yogis describe a continuum of our states of mind, moving from a very dull mind to a scattered mind, to a focused mind, to a one-pointed mind. So I'd like you to choose a focal point. That might be your breath. It might be a specific point on the body, like your brow center. Or I like to also focus on the midbrain point, which is the intersection between your third eye and the so midbrain. Or maybe a focal point on the ground in front of you. Some people use a candle flame or a finger to concentrate on. So choose a focal point. It could also be, a mantra that you repeat in your mind. You want to focus on that one thing. So take your time and get focused. You might notice at first the mind seems dull, can't really get it to activate, wake up, might be scattered to a million things. We might be able to occasionally rein our focus in. But can we find that place of one-pointed awareness? Maybe your breath, a word, a point. And allow that awareness to be spacious and open rather than so fixed. Even though our awareness might be on that midbrain, let it broaden and widen a bit. Take a couple more breaths. So awareness can be a superpower for us. When we can focus our awareness, we can create positive change by becoming aware of when things are not optimal for us, when we have a bad habit, a bad pattern that we need to change, both in our bodies and maybe off our mats in our lives. So by continually focusing our awareness, focusing our attention, we're less scattered and able to accomplish that change we wish to accomplish. Let's bring our hands now together in front of the heart space. Have a nice inhalation, letting the heart lift. And as you exhale, bow your head down to your heart. And thank you so much, everyone. Namaste. All right, have a good weekend. Feel free to unmute if you would like. I'll see you guys next week, hopefully outside.
I'll be away, so I'll be.
Oh, enjoy.
Here. Yeah, we're going to the shore.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you have very good weather.
So far, it looks like it will be.
Yay!
That can change, but I know.
All right, guys.
Okay. Thanks.
Take
Have a good
care.
weekend.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.